It's the Kink Consultant Podcast, where we're turning up the heat on all things kink and dating, relationships, and pop culture. So close the door, plug in your headphones, and let's get down to it. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the Kink Consultant Podcast. I am joined by Susan Bratton, an intimacy expert to millions, and just a general overall sexpert. As I have known her for years and have been following, there is nothing Susan will not talk about.
Hi, Amanda. It's great to talk to you. I'm excited to talk to you about kinky sex. Can I ask you a couple of questions?
Go for it.
You do a lot of one-on-one and couples work, so you're really in it deeply, which I love. What are you helping people with the most? What are the kind of maybe top 3 or 4 things that you're finding that people want from you?
Great question. I think the number one thing that I am helping with the most is I work primarily with couples who are in that like 35, 40 plus range, who have been together for a while and they've lost that intimacy, they've lost the spark, and they're just trying to reignite their marriage and their bedroom life. What I do is I put the value on the bedroom life and what's happening there so that they can re-explore themselves. And oftentimes, because of what I do, one partner is kinkier than the other, and I'm sort of bridging the gap for them so that they can come to a mutual understanding of why desire is important to each of them and how they can both fulfill each other's fantasies so that they're enjoying themselves a lot more.
I love
that. And it's not one-sided. Yeah, so that's really my main focus.
And what are the kinky things that they come to you that they desire? What are top 5 or 6 things you most often see that one partner wants and the other partner has to kind of get used to?
It's often about power exchange, but oftentimes people will come to me and they both want the other person to be more dominant in the bedroom, but there are a bunch of things that he really doesn't understand or she doesn't understand. They want the fantasy and they want to be able to experience it without having to do all the hand holding. That's like a major kink. So there are some ones that fall under that though. Are you familiar with chastity?
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a lot of clients who want to explore chastity and their wives have never even heard of a chastity cage. Like we're building up the partner's education together, explaining why they enjoy it, what they want from it, how cages work. So that's a really common one. Classic dom-sub relationships are also another one. And that's both men and women come to me and they're like, me and my partner want to explore this. We need a little bit of help. Power exchange is huge. Chastity is big. A lot of them fall under that.
Interesting. Those are the 2 big ones.
They're huge.
I'm surprised you would have picked chastity. I'm not surprised with power exchange. That totally makes sense to me. And when you bring them into power exchange, what are you teaching them at a high level? Like, what are kind of the big picture things they need to learn to be able to pull it off confidently?
Funnily enough, one of the things that I have to talk to them about is how they interact with each other outside of the bedroom. Because it's only a power exchange if you feel you're actually changing your role when you step into it. It's interesting. Women, whether they're being asked to play the dominant or the submissive role, talk to me a lot about not being able to rely on their partner to do things like take out the trash and replace the trash bag. I joke, like that's one of my session lines. It truly is. I've told multiple husbands, hey, you're going to get more of what you want in the bedroom, and she's going to feel the ability to be more dominant in the bedroom if she can trust you to be dominant outside of the bedroom and do your tasks. Equally, she finds it difficult to submit if she has to be the person always nagging outside of the bedroom. So I find that some of the outside stuff matters a lot when it comes into the bedroom. And then when we talk about in the bedroom, confidence is the number one thing I am working with both partners on. They are nervous and fearful of upsetting their partner, hurting them, really indulging in their own desires because they have a lot of embarrassment and shame around it. So those 2 things coupled together, fear of not giving their partner what they need and actually hurting them, not even physically, but just emotionally or in a different way. And then also embarrassment and shame about their own desires, making them unable to really relax into their role and take on this role play or even be a little bit more aggressive in the bedroom in a safe, consensual way. Those 2 things hold up so many people. Like I can't even put more weight on them, but I know that building confidence in, listen, you're not going to hurt them, they want this, and this is how you can do it safely is a lot easier than de-shamifying things for people. So I end up working with them on how do we remove the shame from this? Like, what are you feeling? Where's that shame coming from? And how can we navigate it so that you're still allowing yourself to be authentically yourself without having to police everything before doing it?
Yeah, that's so interesting. Yeah, that's super good to know. Thank you so much. Everything you're saying makes sense, and I would not have necessarily been able to answer the question for you myself, so I'm glad to hear about that. And do most people think about power play as I want to be restrained, I want to be spanked, I want to be blindfolded, I want sensation? Is it that kind of thing that most people are thinking about, or is it something different?
I think a lot of people will come to me and think it is exactly those types of things because
Hmm.
that is what the media has taught them, and they
Exactly.
sense a craving for it, but they
Yeah.
don't understand. So one of the first things I work with people on is understanding, okay, they'll tell me all those kinks and we'll get into the core desire that makes them excited about that kink. I'm like, how do you want it to feel? Like, why are you excited about being in bondage? And it's like, I just want to feel like I've given up total control, right? So it's surrender. Or I just want to feel safe. And when I'm restricted in some way, I feel safe. So I'm like, okay, so this is the feeling you want to achieve. You want to do it through bondage. There are other ways. I'll give an example of myself. I do like to feel powerful and I like to, I guess, hold people's throats. I have a partner who is not into that at all. But what I found was, okay, I want to feel in control. I can't do that. What else can I do? So I found covering his mouth like is enough to make him be like, okay, I can surrender in that one way, nothing more.
Yeah.
But it sort of satiates it for me, and I was able to navigate past something I wanted to do. And I was like, okay, let me redirect this into something else. And the reason I bring that up is that's often how kink works. It's like you have seen something and you're like, this stirred something up inside me. I'm like, all right, let's go one level deeper. What did it stir up? How do you want to feel? Here's your range of options to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, people do come for that. I have a range though, because I do focus on some really heavy BDSM clients, some people who want a full-time 24/7 DS dynamic. So some people it is just in the bedroom. And then for others, they really want to live this 24/7 with a contract and rules. Before I even get there, I talk to them about like, is this something you really want? And I ask a series of questions. I really show them this is what it's going to look like. Is this what you want to sign up for? And then we progress from there.
And very interesting. One of the things that I like to talk about is what's beyond being switchy. It feels to me like there are levels where the first thing you do is you kind of learn how to have what we see as traditional sex. And then you want to explore more and you want to have some experiences of, being dominant, being submissive. And I think a lot of times people, especially women, they start with learning how to completely surrender and letting go of control. And then as they get more confident, then they begin to be willing to take some control. Then they're willing to run the bedroom game and be a little more switchy. Their switch gets smoother as they do it. And they're not necessarily always one way or another. It's like the mood. And then they move into what I call flow state, which is now you're with your partner. You're not even really paying attention to, there's no roles anymore. There's just flow. And the flow can be during a lovemaking date, you're really turned on and you're holding them down or you're grabbing them or you're moving them around or you're riding them or something like that. And then you might start out in complete surrender and end up in running the bedroom game. And I call that a flow state of sex where you kind of embody what we would have maybe in the old days called the masculine and the feminine or the dominant and the submissive. Now you are just, you're not even switchy. You're not even, I could do either one and enjoy them both. Now you're just in flow. And it really starts to go back and forth a lot when you're with a lover who's also able to hold flow states. Is there anything beyond that?
That's super interesting because I agree completely that it's about energy. Even power exchange, it's about energy, and energy can flow in those different ways. Beyond that, see, that is in an energy state where you are in an intimate situation, I think, and that is a beautiful state to be in. I've had those experiences. A lot of kink, it's not beyond that. That energy flow state exists, but then for some people, they are layering on more structure and things outside of the bedroom. And I think it's just brought to its highest, purest point in the bedroom then of like, I'm in charge and you are submissive or vice versa. As I will say, kink is dynamic. You make of it what you want it to be. And I think that I can't answer for everyone if there's anything beyond that, because for some there are and some there aren't. But I think you pretty much nailed it of like, that is a through line of energy flow states. And sometimes you just stay in one and the other person stays in the other, but it can also switch depending on what the scene or what you're feeling in the moment.
One of the things that I have been doing for the last 2 decades is focusing on what I call heart-connected, conscious, passionate lovemaking. And to me, what I'm trying to do is move from performative sex to flow state sex. Incredibly competent, incredibly confident, no body image issues holding you back, no concern about having your partner contract if you do something or want something, like really open to what happens. Very loving, even when it's highly hot and erotic, it's very loving. And that you're not acting out anything you've seen, it's coming from within you. So one of the things that I have often found with kink is that I feel like many times it's very performative. It's what I've seen in porn, or there's a certain way to do it. What insight could you give me about how to become a non-performative kinkster?
So I think you are 100% correct. That performative kink thing, I think I always refer to it as the old guard. There was a time within kink and BDSM where everyone was like, you choose a role, you are that role, and this is how you act within it. There's a new wave of kink now that is exactly what you're describing, of moving away from the performative side of it. It's not all whips and chains. None of it almost can be whips and chains. Like
Yeah.
it's not always about sex. Sometimes it's just about experiencing impact play can
Yeah.
fill your cup as much as sex can.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very focused on the connection and the trust built between two people to push things to a boundary. So I think that one of the things that is less performative now is understanding each other's limits and focusing on that, of like, okay, this is as far as you can take it with me. How far do you want to go? And let's find our balance. So there's much more of a focus on not just one partner having their needs met, but both people. And I think that alone allows it to not be performative. Surrendering to each other's needs. And I think that's one of the beautiful things about kink. If you're in the right dynamic and you're with a partner who you're flowing with, to use your words. Yeah. I have one more thing to say about the performative.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think people early on in their journey are performative
You
because
have to learn how to do it.
yes, let me go get all the gear. Let me get all the stuff. I know in my 20s, my wardrobe and toy chest was a lot bigger than it is now because I realized this is what I actually like. This is
Yeah.
what I'm into. It doesn't need to be a big show, even though I was a pro dom. So like that's another reason my wardrobe was really big.
Yeah.
I do this professionally. But there is a lot that once you sink into it and learn and really pay attention to what you like and is bringing you joy, that performance slips away.
What are you currently really into? Tell me a story of a recent hot scene sex date you've had that was really exciting for you.
So I'm a spanko. I have a spanking fetish. All of my listeners know this. I probably talk about it every second episode. My core desire is to be punished. I like to play with the idea that I am not worthy. Or I would feel very seen if someone said, I know you're not working as hard as you could be working right now. You could be doing better, and I'm going to punish you so that I set you on the right track. So I go to these weekend long parties maybe 2 or 3 times a year. And I met someone who is now a good friend, and we created that scene together, and we went back to his hotel room, and he got kind of mean and angry. And this man is like a tall, innocent vegan. He is the sweetest person you've ever met. And when I got him into the bedroom and we did this scene together, I was like, what? Who is this person? He was scary. And it like pulled me into whatever he was creating in a way that I was really allowed to let go and just enjoy my fantasy because he was so serious. He just created so much energy that was outside of himself and brought me in that I was actually scared but knew I was safe because we'd negotiated. I was believing the things he was saying because we were just connected and he was responsive to my body so he could see what I was thinking by looking at me. And at least that's what it felt like. And that was such a hot scene. I like started a blog just to tell people about this scene. But it didn't lead to sex. There were sexual elements of it. It was mutual masturbation. He came on me. So it was intimate in that I was sort of degraded. But once the scene had ended, he just picked me up and held me, even though I felt dirty and disgusting. But he was just like, you did such a good job. And there was that sort of instant repair and appreciation. And then I mutually appreciated him back. And I don't know if I'm doing the scene justice, but it was so beautiful to be seen, to be taken on a journey, and then to be held and like repaired after and told like, you are amazing, you are good. This was just for fun. That was probably one of my hottest scenes lately.
Nice. I love that. Want to hear one of my hottest scenes lately?
I do want to hear one of your hottest scenes lately.
So I am in a relationship with two men currently, my husband and my boyfriend, and we've done all sorts of things together. And I really like MFM threesomes. I like to be dominated by two men simultaneously. And it was really fun. It was a really fun day. It was like a very masculine scene in that, and it was very energetic. One of the things I like about my sex life right now is that I'm 64 and I'm having the hottest sex of my life.
Yes.
And I know we want to talk a little bit about like how to extend your sex span as you age, because you keep getting better and better at sex if you take care of your genitals. So I know you want to go there, and I'm kind of transitioning us into that, I think, with this conversation. I'm very nimble. I'm very lithe. I'm very flexible. I have tons of stamina. Like I've got big bicep. Look how big my biceps are. I'm jacked. And part of the reason I'm jacked is that I spend a lot of time on my hands and knees.
Feeling the next day when you realize you did a workout.
I do workouts, and like my shoulders are strong. I can be on my hands, and I can be on one arm holding a cock in my hand, going down on it for a long time, right?
I love that.
And this is one of the things that I love about sex is that it keeps you fit, which I think is a really very underappreciated aspect of hot sex till the day you die. I really like to start out with a yoni massage, a pussy massage, because it gets me engorged, and I don't like to have sex until I'm like really, really engorged.
And are you giving yourself that massage, or do you have a partner give it to you?
Yeah, why would I do it to myself when I have two men who can serve me? So, I mean, come on. Yeah.
Have you taught them to do the massage, or you're just like, massage me, worship, and like get me there?
One of my programs is called expandherorgasmtonight.com, and it's a clitoral stroking technique that allows you to stroke a clit and get a woman into an orgasmic state where she can come for really long periods of time, and each orgasm stacks more intensely and even longer over time. Sometimes I like to see how many hours I can come. You know, like I'll come for hours and like to see what I can do with that. Because I really like to have all the different kinds of orgasms. I study orgasm and I teach people how to come. That's one of my best things I do. I teach orgasmic intercourse. I teach the 20 kinds of orgasm, what they are, how you can do them, orgasmic techniques. Because orgasms can be generated through locations to touch, through techniques to use, like the expanded orgasm stroking practice, male multiple orgasm, female ejaculation, erotic hypnosis. These are orgasm techniques, or objects of desire, like floggers and any restraints and electrostim and, you know, whatever your jam. And so it's those three categories that elicit human orgasm. And so I like to try them all and have all the kinds of comes and get better and better at them over time. And at 64, I'm coming way better than I came at 54 or 44 or 34 or 24 or 14, you know? I had orgasms in high school.
College for me, but like I was a late bloomer.
I'm a late bloomer too, and I think being a late bloomer is a really good thing because you just keep creating new trysts with life and expanding. It's like ever expanding. So expanded orgasm, and I have another program called Female Liquid Orgasm, which is G-spot de-armoring, G-spot pleasuring, and female ejaculation. And so we kind of started with those basic techniques, and then I realized I really need a lot of outer labia, mons, groin, my sweet little cheeks. I need all that pleasure too. I don't just want a finger on my clit or inside my vagina. I want full engorgement. As I started to understand engorgement, which we'll talk about in a minute as we get into sexual intimate wellness your whole life long, the spongy tissue that we have in our vulva is as much as our male-bodied partners have in their penis, but we're just not taught that. People aren't aware of that, and that we need our lady boner, but it's really wrapped all the way around our vagina. It's not just the tip of the clit. There's all this tissue in there, but it takes a while for it to get filled up. When it gets filled up, it has more surface area. And that surface area, when you touch it, all of the nerve endings and the corpuscles and the mechanoreceptors and all these cellular components of our anatomy that send signals to our biggest sex organ, our brain, there's more surface area, so there's more signaling happening, so there's more intensity of orgasm, easier to come more often, come lots longer, all that stuff. So I like a yoni massage, and my husband was giving me the yoni massage while they put my favorite little blindfold on me, and it says fuck yeah, and it's fuzzy and purple, and they lay me down, and my boyfriend did sensation play with me. He tickled me, he used ice, I had my mask on, he played with my nipples and my breasts with sensual oils, and he made out with me softly and fiercely while my husband was giving me just this incredible pleasure, and I was ejaculating like crazy after a while and just soaking the bed. Like I showed up at that date wanting to just squirt my heart out, and I was just like ready to go. I just was ready. I was hydrated. I was elevated.
You've been preparing, you've been hydrating all day, ready for this encounter. I love it. Do your boyfriend and your husband usually get together and you have an experience? Oh, love it.
We do a lot of that. Yeah, I've had thousands of threesomes.
Obsessed. Okay.
Yes, so good. Yeah, I like group sex. And I like to go to sex parties and see everybody fucking. I have a fluid bonded group, so we only make love within our container. I never do any mouth to genital or genital to genital contact with anyone outside my group, nor do they. So we can have unprotected, wet, wild sex. But I love to be in groups of people making love, sensual and sexual communities of all kinds. So we were doing that. And then I don't remember what our transition was, but it was hilarious because we ended up, my husband loves the Liberator wedges. He loves those wedges, and they restrain you. You know, you can restrain on them and everything. And so he had me on the wedge, and my boyfriend had my legs up, and he was fucking me while my husband was squatting over me and basically fucking my face, you know, like like I was sucking his cock, but he was in control because I couldn't really move. But he knows exactly how to do it because I've done it a million times with him, and he knows how to breathe me, and he knows depth and stroke and all that stuff. And they time their strokes. So my boyfriend followed my husband's strokes. So I was getting stroked in my pussy and my mouth simultaneously by them. And they were taking me slowly higher and higher and coming me. And I was screaming and moaning, and I couldn't see anything. All I could just be, I was swamped with cock.
I'm really getting excited as you're talking. I'm like, what is my body right now? I'm like,
it was so good. And we had so much fun. And then after, I think my husband his legs gave out after a while because he's super tall. And so he's got a lot to hold. He's like 6'3" and he has a lot to hold up, you know?
Yeah, that's a lot to squat and be in that position and going up and down.
But I like him to do it because it keeps him healthy and young, you know? He's very lithe and he's very fluid and he's really got good strength. So after we were done, I'd come and I was exhausted and we had to take a break, and we're all lying there. I'm lying in the middle and the two guys are lying on both sides of me, and we're just sitting there talking about what was fun and having a good time and telling our favorite moments and just enjoying ourselves. And I just thought to myself, such a perfect experience to be with two incredible lovers who are so comfortable with each other and so well tuned, and they were just willing to just swamp my system with pleasure. And they'll do it for the moans. They will work for moaning. They love to hear me screaming and moaning. And over the years, I've gotten a lot better at that. I've become very auditory, and it's joyful for all of us. We all enjoy it. And I just love all the different sounds that come out of my body. That's a real pleasure too. And so it's just so neat to know that you can have these great experiences with all of this sensation and pleasure and slowness and hotness and swamping of, you know, just getting it.
Yes.
And so that happened this week. That was a good sex date. But then it was funny because once I had all that, the next sex date that I wanted, my husband had to leave. He had to go down to San Diego to get some things for his pilot's license. And my boyfriend stayed with me for a few more days. And I wanted sensual, slow, romantic lovemaking. Like I'd had enough of that. And I wanted almost the exact opposite, which was just like lots of slow pleasuring and kissing and very erotic and very sweet.
So do you feel that balances it within you, having both of those needs met at separate times?
Yeah. Yeah.
I have to tell you, the thing that is really striking me the most right now is I talk about a lot about self-exploration and self-pleasure. Your ability to document your own journey of just becoming more auditory, like
Yeah.
that is a beautiful thing that I think I have questions like, why do you think you were less auditory before? Did you just not know the pleasure that it could bring, or were you more reserved in the bedroom before and being louder came from confidence? I'd love
Yeah.
to hear a little bit more
It
about that.
it was the latter. And, I just started out being ashamed of everything and knowing nothing, just like everybody. And I almost got divorced from my husband because I didn't want to even have sex with him. I'd never had an orgasm from intercourse. And I fucked him dutifully for 12 years and I was just tired of it. And we were just like, okay, we need to fix this so we don't have to get divorced because we love each other and we're best friends, but we should be best lovers. And we went to a bunch of workshops and we learned how to have hot sex. And I realized, oh, it's really easy to have hot sex if somebody just tells you what to do. I want to devote the rest of my life to just teaching people what to do. Just give people the step by step by step. And so that's what I started 20 years ago, was doing that. And I started out being basically barely orgasmic, totally quiet. I didn't even ever look at my genitals. I thought I was ugly. I thought my body was fat. I thought my boobs were ugly. And now at 64, I'm like, I think my boobs are incredible. I think I'm so hot and sexy. I don't care if there's like a little tummy pooch or cellulite. I mean, I just think I feel more gorgeous than I've ever felt. I'm a better comer. And the reason I started moaning is because my current boyfriend, he is hard of hearing in one ear, but I could never remember which one. So I was just loud all the time. And I also remember that I started learning how to ride cock maybe 6 years ago, like late 50s. I started really like, I want to be on top. I want to be more aggressive. My confidence has gotten me to the point where I want to run the bedroom game. And now I'll be riding my husband and screaming and be like, am I hurting your ears? He's like, oh God, no, I love it so much, because now I love to just dominate him and tell him dirty stories and scream and moan and ride his cock. And he just loves it. It's so much fun for him. After all those years of putting in, now he's also receiving some really fun, wild things from me, which I love.
So this is the same husband for the first 12 years that
Yeah,
you
34 years with him.
Wow.
I've been with him longer than I'm not now. He's my partner for life. We've been through thick and thin, sickness and health, poverty, everything. We've been through it all together. Raised our daughter. She's incredible. Yeah. So
I love that
there's no life without him.
Like the decision was to work through it. And it's like, this is a problem. There are solutions to problems. Let's find it. And then
they're so easy.
Yes.
It's not hard to learn how to be hot in bed. You just need to know what to do.
How many courses do you have now?
44 books and programs.
Just a wealth of knowledge, like a true sexpert who lives it and breathes it.
Yeah.
So I really do want to get into
intimate wellness.
Intimate wellness as you age, like how you can improve it.
Yeah.
What have you been working on lately? Like, what have you discovered that has made the biggest impact on other people's lives, on your own life?
Remember when I was talking about how I'm coming better at 64? Yeah. My pussy's never been juicier, more luscious, more active, more responsive, more orgasmic. My husband's cock's never been bigger, harder, firmer, better, nor my boyfriend's. We have Olympic quality genital systems, and that's because we do things to take care of them. And what happens is, you know how your grandma and grandpa, if they're still alive, they're tinier now? You know how they're little?
They get smaller, yeah.
We get smaller, and that's atrophy. Our muscles shrink. Not mine. Like, I have more muscles now than I've ever had in my life. I'm bigger. My thighs are like slabs of meat, and I love it. I am moving into the last 40 years of my life on this planet with, just strength, because that is what keeps you young. That and good sleep, good nutrition, good sex, good movement, good exercise. Those are the 4 factors of longevity. And my brain's never been more on fire. I mean, I'm writing multiple books. I'm producing a documentary. I run a mastermind for sexperts. I speak all over the world. I'm leaving for Australia next week to do a speaking tour in Australia. I'll be in Europe next year on a speaking tour. I'm just having the time of my life. So I'm not atrophying. I'm not shrinking. I'm growing. I'm building. I'm expanding. and my genitals are expanding, not contracting. The erectile tissue in my vulva, my vulvovaginal system, is the same as the erectile tissue in my husband and my boyfriend's penises. And instead of it atrophying, we do the things that keep it big and plump and sending all those signals to our brain. And the way that we do that is twofold. The first is blood flow. Taking a nitric oxide booster is the simplest, most basic thing you can do once you hit 40. Eat your leafy green vegetables, eat your beets, but our soils are nitrogen depleted and we need the nitric oxide to squeeze the blood from our body into our dicks and pussies. And when you can't get the blood in, you have loss of erectile function, loss of sensation, your genitals shrink, you're on your way out. So the way you do that is you take a nitric oxide booster. The nitric oxide booster I recommend is Flow.
Okay.
And you can get a free bottle of it at getflowfree.com. Take it anytime, night or day. It doesn't really matter. Take some before sex. It'll top those nitric oxide systems back up and you'll get firmer. It'll get the blood flow into your pelvic bowl so you can get it into your dick and into your clitoral, urethral, and perineal tissues of the vulva or in the penile tissue chambers. The second thing is using pump. A penis pump or a lady pump, a vulva pump and clitoris pump. What it does is it uses vacuum to draw the blood from your body into the vulval or penile tissue to expand and keep the blood carrying capacity high. You need the blood to feel the pleasure, to get the erections. And women need as much erectile function as men. It's just that people don't know about that because we live in a dick-centered society.
So true.
But not for long. It's all changing now. If you go to pumpingguide.com, that has a book all about pumping that teaches you what pump I recommend, how to do it for reversing atrophy, then how to do it for penile enlargement, what lady pump I like, everything about it. So you can learn about it. It's the cheapest thing you can do to keep your pussy and your dick working great.
I will be doing these things. I'm 37. I'm starting now because I love my vagina and I want her to carry me through for the rest of my life. So I keep enjoying things the way I'm enjoying them now.
Exactly.
If not better.
And then from there, if you have more atrophy and you've kind of let it go and you didn't know about pumping and you didn't know about nitric oxide, you've lost firmness, there's not a lot of vascularization left in your penis, you're having difficulty achieving orgasm as a woman, your labia are kind of like atrophied, you've got vaginal laxity, your clitoris isn't sensitive like it used to be, then you can get Gainswave treatments. Gainswave is where you go to a practitioner and they rub this wand, it's called acoustic wave, on your genitals. It does tiny little micro damage that stimulates new tissue growth, grows back the capillaries, which then let the nerves grow back in. So it plumps everything up and it gives you sensation and blood flow back at a level that just a simple vacuum erection device can't get you to. So it's like the next level.
And women can do this too? I've heard of men doing this. Okay, women can do it.
Gainswave for her. I get it done every 3 to 4 years. Okay. I go for a series of treatments. And then if you have vaginal atrophy, like thinning of the vaginal tissue, I recommend Glow Below. This is a topical vaginal estrogen, it's a biest. It's estriol and estradiol serum. It's super natural and clean. My friend Dr. Michelle Sands makes this. It's at getglowbelow.com. I always give the links to everything because people are like, where do I get that? So
they'll get in the show notes. Yeah. So all of these links are in the show notes.
Get Glow Below topical vaginal serum. Put it on. It thickens. It basically volumizes the tissue so that it can hold the lubrication that comes from the blood flow to your pelvis. So it trickles through the vaginal mucosal lining and wets it. If you can't you got to take the nitric oxide booster to get the blood flow. Keep the vaginal serum to keep the tissue thicker. It also helps you with UTIs and, just basically vaginal atrophy. So it reverses it and it's non-systemic. So if you're going to take regular estrogen, you can take that too. And then you can also add the topical. It's not going to give you too much estrogen. If
Oh,
you cannot take estrogen, there's a DHEA version as well, which is non-estrogenic. Some women don't want to take it. The next,
can't either. So I love that there's that option available.
I know, exactly. And very few, but there are some. Next, I also recommend this. It's called the Vagina Device, and it's red light. You can probably hear it. Yes, it's red light therapy, photobiomodulation. It goes inside the vagina. It stimulates mitochondrial growth, and that mitochondrial growth helps generate more vaginal mucosal lining. It has warmth and Kegel vibrations that allow you to tone the pelvic musculature. And the warmth helps recollagenate the tissue. So you can do this as well. And then I only recommend that you use lubes that don't have any crap chemicals in them. Don't put anything on your pussy you wouldn't put in your mouth. I like the Pleasure Protocol, which is cocoa butter melts, arousal oil, and sex oil with CBD, because CBD is a phytocannabinoid that works with your endocannabinoid system, and you have a ton of endocannabinoids in your genital tissue, and that's your pleasure healing pathway, and it keeps the tissue really good.
This is so exciting. Like,
I
I'm
know.
literally like, I want to go experience all of these things, and to understand what's happening is really special, because
Yeah.
even as pleasure forward as I am, as much as I care about self-pleasure and exploring myself, like I do not know these things. So I'm super excited to try them and see how they help and affect me.
Yeah, Amanda, this is what I get booked to speak on around the world. Sexual biohacking, extending your sex span to extend your health span, sexual regenerative therapies, the 4 factors of longevity, which includes sex span. They seldom invite me. There's seldom places I can go to speak from stage about how to have hot sex or orgasms, but people are willing to talk about health. So that's my Trojan horse into deeper conversations around pleasure and technique, because you can meet people in intimate wellness. And these are not well known. And I have honed this stack and these products. I've tried a million things, and these are the ones I love.
I feel that from you. You're sitting here and I'm just thinking, it's like she's doing the Lord's work out here. It's like you're a preacher of, hey, this is what's to come for your future. Here's how to take care of yourself now so that you can keep enjoying yourself. And I have been worried about this. I only found out this year that your labia can shrink and retract over time. I did not know that. It's as people get closer to, as my friends and I are all getting closer to perimenopause age and menopause age, you start hearing it more. Your Instagram algorithm serves you more stuff about it. And you're just like faced with a lot of these things. But it's not like there's not a lot of solutioning. It's like, this is how bad menopause is. And I'm just terrified of it, specifically because I'm like, no, I love her.
Yes.
Okay. And now I'm learning how to take care of her in a way that she can be.
You want her to be juicy and luscious. I call my pussy the Hanging Gardens of Babylon.
Oh my
It's
God,
like
so
my
sexy.
labia are so luscious, and they cum me so well, and they grip those cocks so great, and I'm so wet and juicy. I've got no problems at all with orgasms, and sex feels great, and I can have quite a bit of sex and really not have any problems or any pain or anything. I can take a banging when I'm in the mood with no problem at all.
I cannot say that for myself. So I'm really like, I want to try this because there are things that you're talking about where I'm like, I actually need some of this now.
Yeah,
I think,
of course.
you know?
Yeah. 38, you do. Yeah.
It's almost like you're probably also never too young to start. Like it's a good skincare routine. It's good to start taking care of these things now.
Yeah. The first things I would do for you would be the vaginal estrogen, the Glow Below, Get Glow Below. And then I would do the Pleasure Protocol with the melts and the Awaken Arousal Oil and the sex oil. I would do those 2 things. They'll be your first steps with the Flow Nitric Oxide Booster.
That's what one I want to get to. So
you'll get it, take a free bottle. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm going to do that. The pump thing is interesting too. I've never thought about it. And my curiosity has taken over. I'm trying all 4 of these things. It's like, again, once I hear about things, I'm like, no, I need to see how this works for me too.
Yeah.
Because again, this is something that occupies my mind. And instead of worrying about it, I want to start like working towards fixing it.
What is so cool is when you pump it up, they're clear cylinders. And when you pump it up, you can see your little clit in there and you're like, oh, I've got a dick. That's a dick. It's exactly a little dick. And then that is like, okay, well, now I don't have energy. I've got big clit energy. Let's go. And then you're just even more empowered.
I love my vagina. Like I
You too.
I have, you know how there's a stereotype of men who love their dicks?
Yeah.
Like I love my vagina more than
Same.
anyone I've ever met loves his dick. Like I get a mirror out, I'm like, she is so pretty.
Beautiful.
Like, I know her well.
Yeah.
We are close. So I'm like, I cannot wait to see her in her prime, pumped up and like on display. This is fantastic.
I love it. Well, we've had fun.
Yeah, we did.
Oh my God.
Like, the way you describe things too, I'm like, I feel like you must be a natural at these things. What would you attribute your growth and confidence most to, if there is one thing? Like, how did you find your confidence in going down this path?
There were a couple things. First is that when my mom raised me as a feminist, today I'm wearing a necklace with a Susan B. Anthony. She was the suffragette that helped women get the vote. A Susan B. Anthony, like dollar or something that came out in like the 70s. My mom had this made for me and she told me, don't ever let anybody tell you what to do. You make good decisions. You know what you're doing. You decide for yourself and you trust your gut. Nobody owns you. You are in charge. And that gave me confidence. And then I married my husband and he's been the wind beneath my wings. He's encouraged me. He's helped me grow. He's called me toward my pleasure and expansion. And he just cannot get enough of me. He just loves me so much and supports me in my growth in every area of my life. So I think it's the combination of having a lot of encouragement to be who I really am. And I think that's really what's helped me. And then I just keep maturing like we all do. And I believe in myself because of those foundations, but also because I've just found that out of any group of people, no matter what, some people are going to absolutely love who you are exactly for who you are. Some people are going to be totally fine with who you are and they like you. And some people won't like you. They don't like who you are. And I am fine with that. Like that does not bother me. I am not everybody's cup of tea. I'm a lot for some people and I understand that, but that's their trigger, not my trigger. That's their issues, not my issues. So if somebody's like, you know, she's a slut, she's a whore, she's a Jezebel, she's a weirdo, she's a freak, whatever. I'm like, actually, I don't think I am. I think I'm actually one of the more emancipated women and walking on the planet today in so many ways. I run 2 companies. I'm super strong. I write longevity. I mean, I think I'm doing incredible stuff. I'm doing documentary. I'm on fire. And so what I've noticed is that when you step into your greatness, whatever it is going to make some people feel triggered and diminished, but that has nothing to do with you and should never extinguish your flame. That's totally about them. And ultimately you did them a favor because either you showed them something that's not right for them or you showed them where they have some triggers for growth. And that's all good too.
I love that. But I have one more question because
Okay.
I have a lot of married couples who listen to this podcast, and a lot of them end up being my clients because they're experiencing exactly what you were discussing of like being at that 12-year mark and being like, my pleasure has never been centered here. What advice do you have for them? Having gone down that path, like, can you give one piece of advice to a couple who might be going through that right now? What would you recommend?
Yeah, I would say for me, the number one thing would be yoni massages, regular, unlimited yoni massages, so she can get her pussy really turned on and fully engorged, and she can receive without expectation, and that there's nothing tied to it, and that you just fill her up with orgasm and you cum the shit out of her. Whenever you can get her to lie down, you just cum her. And you don't ask for anything because her coming is gift enough. And when she wants you, she will tell you. But if you give to her with the expectation you're going to get something, that's where things go wrong.
Perfect amount of sense. The expectation is what's going to set you up for failure there. Like you have to be giving.
Yeah.
Oh, love it all. We really did have fun today.
Oh my God. Fantastic.
And I would love to have you back on after I try all of these things because I want the
Yes.
experience. I want to talk through it with someone
Me too.
who knows about it. Okay. So we'll definitely have you back on early next
Good.
year because I am ready to go. I'm like,
Good.
yes, you came at the right time
Good.
into my life. Thank
I'll
you.
be in Vegas. I'm speaking at Camp Be More in Vegas I think it's like March. I'll send you the dates and maybe we can even do an in-person.
Oh my God, I would love that. Send me the
Okay.
dates for sure. All
I will.
right. Susan, thank you so much for joining. And as I said, all of the links you spoke about will be in the show notes so that everyone can find their way to all of the great advice that you've given today.
Good. I want to leave one more link. And that is, I have a newsletter. It's at betterlover.com. And if you like the stuff I've been talking about, that's what I talk about 2 days a week on a really great newsletter. And if you have any questions for me, that's how to get a hold of me. You can always reply to the Better Lover newsletter. And when you reply, I get that in my inbox. It doesn't go to my care team. That's personal. So betterlover.com is the way to kind of stay in my world if you like what I said.
Love it. Thank you so much. I hope everyone does sign up for that because you are a wealth of knowledge. It's amazing.
Thanks, Amanda.
If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with anyone who might find it interesting. And if you have any questions or topics you'd like me to cover in future episodes, feel free to reach out. Email info@thekinkconsultant.com. Until next time, keep on kinking on.